The sun blazed over the jagged ridgelines of the Golan Heights, August 1973. Below, Israeli armor clashed with Syrian tanks in a grinding war of steel. But above them, at 35,000 feet, a very different kind of battle was about to unfold, fast, invisible, and deadly. It was the era of jet dogfights, radar locks, and split-second decisions. In the sky, the F-4 Phantom II and the MiG-21 fished were mortal enemies. Captain Eli Ram, age 28, sat in the cockpit of his F-4 Phantom, call sign Viper 1. His backseater, Lieutenant Doran Ha-Levi, monitored radar and handled weapon systems. Together, they were among the best in the Israeli Air Force, a trusted team forged by dozens of missions. "Eagle Nest to Viper 1, came the voice through the comms. "You've got multiple bogies inbound from the northeast, fast movers. Vector 065. Confirm." "Confirmed," Eli replied, eyes scanning the distant sky. "Looks like MiGs. Engage and intercept. Rules of engagement. Cleared hot." He flicked a switch and banked east, engines roaring. Behind him, 2 more Phantoms formed up. Doran leaned forward. "I'm painting 3 MiG-21s. Tight formation. Altitude 30,000 and climbing fast." "Copy that. Let's not let them get the drop on us." MiG-21s were smaller, lighter, and built for speed. They weren't as versatile as the Phantom, but in a turning fight, they were lethal. Across the border, Syrian pilot Captain Amir Faisal, call sign Falcon II, led his MiG-21 squadron into the fight. He'd trained in the USSR and had flown against Phantoms before. But this time, he had orders to disrupt Israeli air superiority over the Golan. The MiG streaked in at full afterburner, silver streaks slicing through the blue. Israeli ground radar scrambled to track them. The 2 squadrons would meet in the skies over Mount Hermon, thin air, high stakes, and no room for mistakes. Eli spotted the contrails first. "Contact, 11 o'clock high," he called. "I see them, 3 fish beds. Tight echelon left." "Let's split," Eli ordered. "I'll take lead. 2 and 3, bracket left and right. Force them into a turn." As they closed, the sky erupted into chaos. A MiG fired first, loosing an AA-2 Atoll missile. It screamed past Eli's Phantom by inches. "Too close." "Missile launch." Doran barked. Eli rolled left, dumped flares, and dove. The G-forces slammed his body against the seat, but the missile missed. He leveled out and came back around, now behind one of the MiGs. "Fox 2. Doran shouted. A sidewinder leapt from the Phantom's wing and streaked toward the MiG. The Syrian pilot yanked hard right, but the missile had already locked. Flames bloomed in the sky as the MiG disintegrated. 1 down. But the victory was short-lived. Amir Faisal came screaming in behind Phantom III, his MiG spewing 23mm cannon fire. The Israeli pilot tried to brake, but his tail was clipped. The Phantom spiraled down, trailing smoke. A parachute blossomed, the pilot ejected. "Viper 3's down," Doran said grimly. "Let's end this," Eli growled. He scanned the sky there. Amir's MiG. Sharp, fast, cocky. Eli climbed to 36,000 feet, banking around the sun to blind his enemy. Doran managed a radar lock. "He's yours." Eli flicked the trigger. Another sidewinder launched. But Amir had anticipated it. He broke hard left and dropped altitude, dragging the missile wide. He looped up and came around behind Eli in a tight spiral. Now he was the hunter. "Missile lock," Doran yelled. Eli pulled every maneuver he knew, high G turns, barrel rolls, flare dumps. The MiG stayed glued behind him. Amir fired, and missed. But he wasn't letting go. They were locked in a classic dogfight now, flying in circles at breakneck speeds, both trying to get behind the other. "I'm gonna try the Cobra," Eli said. "You serious? It's now or never." The Cobra was a risky maneuver, climbing sharply, then pulling the nose up into a stall before dropping back down behind the enemy. Few could pull it off. Fewer still lived to try it twice. He yanked the stick. The Phantom surged up, then suddenly flared its nose, slowing rapidly. Amir's MiG shot past him. For a fraction of a second, Eli had the shot. Fox 2. The Sidewinder screamed toward the MiG. Amir saw it coming too late. The MiG burst into flame and tumbled down like a comet. Splash 2. Doran yelled, triumphant. But even as they celebrated, a fourth radar blip appeared, a late-joining Syrian MiG, hidden low against the terrain. He fired, and the missile struck. Wham! A jolt rocked the Phantom. Red lights flared across the dashboard. "We're hit!" Doran cried. "Right engine's on fire!" Eli fought the controls. The plane bucked and wheezed but held together. "We're going down," Eli said. "Prepare to punch out." "No," Doran's voice was calm. "Let me handle the fire. Keep us flying. We're not done yet." Doran, bleeding from shrapnel in his arm, reached under the seat and pulled the emergency fire suppression system. It doused the engine with foam. The fire sputtered out, but the Phantom was still limping. And the MiG was coming back for a kill. Eli tightened his harness. "One more round, then we're out." He dropped altitude fast, hoping to bait the MiG lower. The Syrian pilot followed, not knowing the Phantom still had one last missile. "Now," Doran whispered. Fox 2. The final Sidewinder launched, and nailed the MiG dead-on. It exploded in a fireball just above the ridge. Smoke filled the Phantom's cockpit. "Ejection now," Doran ordered. But Eli hesitated. Below them, Israeli tank columns were pushing toward the front. If they ejected here, the wreck might land on friendlies. "I'll guide her into the valley," Eli said. "You won't make it. Punch out." "I said I'll guide her." With shredded control surfaces and half an engine, Eli glided the Phantom past the front line. At the last moment, just before impact, he pulled the handles. 2 seats exploded skyward, twin streaks of hope against the scorched sky. They landed hard near an IDF artillery post. Medics rushed over. Doran was unconscious but breathing. Eli, bruised and burned, limped toward the smoking ruin of his Phantom, just as it finally exploded in the distance. Back at base, days later, Eli stood in his flight suit watching a new Phantom roll onto the tarmac. Doran was recovering, his arm in a sling, but alive. Their kills had helped clear the skies over the Golan, a decisive moment in the Yom Kippur War. Air Command awarded them the Medal of Valor for their actions. When asked how he pulled off the Cobra against Amir, Eli just smiled. "Sometimes you don't outfly the enemy, you outthink him." And as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky gold and crimson, the legacy of that dogfight soared on, a clash of machines, wills, and daring that defined an era.